Matthew was not a fan of the look of Kelsey Grammer's Beast. He loved Kelsey's work, you know, as an actor, but he wanted Beast to look, in terms of his hair, wilder, more like an animal.
He wanted something not only that looked younger, but looked more feral and more animalistic. He kept saying, you know, it's a beast, it's a beast. And getting to exactly what he meant by it's a beast was a part of the challenging part of the process.
I'd worked with Alec Gillis previously, and he had always come through and always done terrific work. So we went to him, and there was a fabulous sculptor, special effects makeup man, David Elsey, from London, and they teamed up and worked together.
There was a brief moment when we first started where it was like, well, we could just like take this whole problem away and it could all be digital. Or maybe it's like, it's the makeup from here up and digital from here down.
I think we just got to design it so it looks okay when he's not talking.
Yeah.
And then when he is talking, you go digital.
Yeah, give you a virtual mouth with big teeth, a broader opening than you can accommodate yourself.
It seemed very difficult to do, to come up with, and first of all, you want it to look like Nick, and yet it became too cat-like, it became too wolf-like. You know, we had to somehow find an animal that wasn't so distinctive that you felt like you were looking at a cat, and yet still make it look like Nick Hoult.
They were at a point where they really should have had a lockdown character by then, and, you know, all eyes are looking at the makeup team to solve the problem.
So we were quickly trying to regroup and come up with something that was going to satisfy Matthew's vision.
Because we had Nick Hoult, who you would see as Nick Hoult, as a human being, and then transform, it was perhaps a little less important that we hang on to an exact likeness of him, and that freed it up for us to explore some different, more beastly possibilities.
We should get a fake head made, we sign off on. Then once we've got the perfect head, then we can say, how we put it on him?
Completely separately, ADI in the States and us over in England, we had done 2 maquettes and see which one he went for.
And the cool thing was that out of all this, you know, lineup of 5 or 6 sculptures, the director said, I like that one, and they were the ones that Dave and I had done.
There were subtle differences between the 2, but really these things could have been brothers.
So we were able to then say, okay, this is great, let's combine aspects of them, you know, over an actual life cast of the actor.
I thought that it was important that we have Nick coming through. We could get a very animalistic look by working with Nick so that he could still act, and then put the makeup on top of that.
There we go. All right, thank you so much. Fantastic.
One of the very first things we did was we made some plumpers and put them in his mouth and played around with how big we could literally put teeth in his mouth and still have him be able to talk and stuff.
And we may have to dub some lines, but whose phone is that? It's fine.
And right up until the very first makeup test that we did, people were still saying, well, you know, I guess we can just make the mouth work, you know, digitally. And I was saying, well, you know, I think you're going to be surprised at what Nick's going to be able to do.
Does this work? Oh, yeah. Without it being attached? Yeah. Okay.
Matthew was very big on fur, not hair, but fur.
He didn't want hair. He wanted it to be animalistic. He wanted it to be like fur.
That's perfect. You like that?
You like that? Right.
Yes. Cool. I like that too. Shit, no offense.
No.
Shit.
Never see it again. Right under there.
Bullshit. That's good.
Good?
That's brilliant.
Okay.
Cool. Okay.
But the challenge was, with fur, it has a very, very heavy underfluff, so it is very, very fluffy. So in order to try and make that into a hairstyle and blend it from the facial hair all the way through was really difficult, because, you know, we couldn't just get a fur coat and put it on his head, you know, it wasn't going to work. So there was a lot of kind of engineering involved with getting lots of different tapered hair, which is, you know, that's kind of a real characteristic of fur, is that the hair is tapered and not cut.
Well, and it's a very risky thing to do as well. Once you've made up your mind that you're going to do fur and not hair, that's it. You know, is there going to be no going back? You're not going to be able to change it. You can't style it. You can't cut it. If you've ever tried to, you know, put a funny haircut on your dog, and I know I have, you know, and tried to comb the hair around, you'll notice it just goes right back to where it starts again. But he was adamant.
Well, it looks a million times better already. That's good.
When we brought Nick onto set and Matthew looked at him and he just smiled, you know, it was a little little smile, because he's kind of a stoic guy, right?
Now this is the stuff, because it looks like proper fur now, not like... I mean, you want to feel that tonight. Is it real?
Yeah. No, of course not. Lou's been making it.
Walked around, inspected him very carefully, closely, and said, I could shoot this today. I'd be happy to shoot this. And we were like, oh, thank God.
I'm really impressed. I'm like, I can't... Very good. I mean, if I had to shoot this, I'd be happy.
And it was great. It was a great illustration to everybody just what an actor in a makeup can do.
The mask actually moves very well, but you do have to make your performance bigger and learn how to kind of move in it again. So it's just trying to get that right and make it look normal or natural as possible, which it just takes time, I suppose, and getting used to how it works.
Once he put that suit on, and you talked to him, you totally forgot it was Nick. I totally would. He really became someone else.
Nick was up at sort of 2 in the morning for an 8 o'clock on set time, and I think Jennifer began to wear her down after a while because, you know, her call was actually, I think, was even earlier than his, and you know, and it's a tedious process.
There's no CG for me. It's the same technology, the same methods they were using on Rebecca Romaine, the original Mystique, 10 years ago.
But it was just finding the process because we didn't have the people who did the original. So it's finding the right shade of blue. They felt that the last blue might fade in the dark, so we were going lighter, but not as light as Avatar. So we did, I would say, 20 plus tests to find the right shade of blue on Mystique.
I thought I was just gonna lay down for like 6 hours and just like go to sleep while this happened.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I too was gonna have to. I had the theory of when I was really tired, when I was on like my 7th hour, I was like, why don't you just dip me in a bathtub of blue? But it's all airbrushed. They place the scales first, and then that's telesis and glue, latex, and then they do 3 layers of airbrush blue and then 5 layers of splattering of all different colors, which is really cool. It's the worst when it's going on, but it looks really cool. It makes it look like 3D marble.
It takes 6 girls to paint the full body, and it takes about 7 hours to do that process.
I know that everybody feels sorry for me, but we have so much fun. It's like a sleepover, except I'm naked and being painted.
So you have a lot of issues and how long your artist can stand to be made up, live in it afterwards, because it's very constricting, not in its physical constrictions, just I think it's psychologically very constricting to have lenses in and not be any part of yourself showing at all.
At first it was awful because you feel claustrophobic in your own body, in your own skin, because you have an itch and you can't scratch it. But now I'm used to it now, actually. Yeah, except when you're going on hour 11. It starts, I gotta get it off. But everybody's really wonderful about understanding what it's like under here.
And we don't have her all blue too often, so it works for her.
Because after all of this, it's like, are you kidding? I'm not taking this off. Are you kidding me?
This will be, with the painting, this will be 2 hours, I think. It's not bad. No. Matt said when I got the part, because I do a lot of stuff in makeup, which I'm trying to stop doing, and Matt said, Jace, just do one more. When you see the picture, don't be shocked because we're going to add the tail in post. And I was like, oh, not again. So yeah, he's a full-on mutant.
What do you think of more prosthetics than you? Sorry. Just fell out my hands.
Well, their plan for Jason, before Jason was cast, was that it would be like the Beast, a full head prosthetic. But once they cast Jason, I knew straight away that he could be the character Matthew wanted without having all that prosthetic work on. So I found someone straight away just to do some test pieces for me to give that Azazel effect, which is a brow, enhance the brows, enhance the cheekbones, and do the rest with the facial and the wig. And Matthew liked it straight away. We again did many tests on what shade of red he should be.
It was the whole thing trying to find the right color red, because at a certain point he looked like the devil, and at a certain point he looked like a man in red makeup. I think we overcame it by adding scars. And I think the scars is something so human, and giving him eyes that were just a shade brighter than his own. And the real crowning victory was Francis came up with that sort of black mane of hair that seemed to tie everything in.
He looks a little bit like a sort of microwaved Elvis. He's definitely strange looking.
He's fantastic casting for the part. You just have to think out of the box and think big, and it all works, and always have a fantastic team. it runs very well, I have to say.